Please give a big round of applause for Leon Thomas.
What's good, what's good? How y'all feeling out there?
They ready for you, man. They ready for you.
Absolutely. It's
ready,
not the
man.
normal stiff LA crowd. I see there's really some vibes going right now. Yeah. I like that. It's not too industry.
They got it's the coolness of LA, but with the energy. You know,
I like that.
the
Yeah,
energy
energy's
tonight.
a
We got
big
the energy
thing.
tonight, man. How you doing?
I'm feeling really good, man. You know, I've been blessed. I've been working a lot. I just dropped a new record, Just How You Are. So,
Amazing record, man.
man, it feels so good to let all this new music out.
Man, knowing you're such a workaholic. So it's like you seems like you always work. When do you get the time to work on the new music? Because you're getting ready for tour, you're doing interviews, y'all. When do you have that time to just go and actually create?
Well, you know, when I was making MUTT, we had a bunch of records that didn't make it to the album, and it was the beginning of a new sound, and I knew that new sound deserved a full-fledged project around it. So top of the year, I really took about 3 months to really start brushing off some of those older records and get in the studio and make some new ones. I knew for a fact that I didn't want to come out as one of those R&B artists that does his thing for a little bit and then disappears for 4 years. I think it's important to really, just stay active.
I think that's dope that you can look inside of the records that you've already did, and even though they're older records, be like, no, this one is special. We need to come back to this one. Is that something? Does records ever lose the magic of the moment, or can you, once it's a good record, you know it's a good record? How do you know? Oh, this one we can hold on to, even if it doesn't come out right now.
I mean, I think it's really about what I'm trying to say. I think a body of music, even though I feel like we're in a culture that celebrates singles more than anything, I feel like a body of music should say like one particular thing. And, these songs had similar concepts, and the sound of it to me felt like I was paying homage to all of the people that inspired me, like Prince, Jimi Hendrix, even Radiohead and Pink Floyd. You know, like I feel like there's so many different genres that inspire me, so I needed to really find a home for them, and folks ended up being at home.
I don't know how much you want to get into it, but I got a chance to hear some of the folks. And
Oh, for real? Oh, cool. Yeah.
when you talk about the different genres, you kind of show off some different bags in here. I don't know what you would want to get into it, but talk a little bit about being able. The thing that I liked about it too is you have your world, and when you drift off to these different genres, it still sounds like the world of Leon Thomas. Is that intentional to still keep the world while you're still exploring these different sounds?
Yeah, man. I feel like my pen, the lyric, and my instrument, my voice, is the through line, and it gives me an opportunity to kind of dabble in different subgenres. But even with that being said, I feel like there's so much that we did to even make sure that the songs that were a little bit more rock driven still had that soul and that energy and that funk attached to it. So. We really do our best to keep that through line, but I know for a fact that people are gonna see exactly every part of me by listening to this one, and I think that's important.
I love it. I love it. You know, we actually had a chance to have a conversation at the Grammy Museum a few years ago. We brought you here, and you was actually sitting on a music producer panel. So you was here talking about your role as a music producer. And I remember it was not too short after. I was actually at the studio, and you came by a session. And I remember we was just all kind of just talking in the session. And I remember you saying, man, I just got like this project I got to work on. I just really want to focus on the artistry. And what I remember about that is you spoke so passionately about the intention you wanted to have with putting your artistry out there. Fast forward to now, everything that you talked about those few years ago is happening now. Can you talk a little bit about the intention and why it was so important for you? You've had success, from a child, as a producer, but you wanted to really make this stamp to let people see the artist side of you. Talk a little bit about the intention behind that and why that was so important to you.
I mean, if you hang around me long enough, you'll hear a passionate speech about something I haven't accomplished yet, and then you'll see it happen a couple years later because my talks with God are very, very deep, and I know for a fact that my purpose is already written. So I think sometimes it's just about timing and the amount of intention that I had into being an artist. I think, it came from having something to say, finding my pocket of the industry that felt like home to me was a really big thing too. There's millions of songs dropping every Thursday, every Friday now. So I feel like in order to be at a position where people actually hear what I'm trying to say, I had to carve out my own lane.
When you're working on your own sound and your own voice, which you writing for so many different artists, producing for so many different artists, have this versatility in genres that you can do. How do you find your voice? How do you find Leon Thomas' voice in all the different things that you do?
I mean, it all comes from my roots. I think if you're ever trying to figure out how to be a good adult, you should look to your childhood. And I think for me, being around so many different genres and studying them in a very specific way, I'm now able to emulate things that really ring true to me through my music. And I think that is the sound. The sound is my ability to be a strainer for compositions. And on the other end of that, you hear something that's specifically me.
You talk about your childhood, and you really started in this game really young, being on Broadway at 10 years old, doing Lion King. Talk a little bit about jumping into that world, because as a 10-year-old, you're doing big plays on Broadway, but you're also in public school as well too. Talk a little bit about that. But how did you get thrown in there? Who was the person who recognized your talent to say, "Oh, let's put him into this field"?
Well, I mean, shout out to my mom, a really good friend of hers. She was actually at a rehearsal herself, and I was just running around singing and dancing and being myself as a kid. And her friend said I should audition for The Lion King, and in a matter of months, I went from going to public school to starring on Broadway, and that whole process was a snowball effect. Because I was so young, I was 10 years old. I mean, it all felt like a game to me. And throughout my teenage years working with Nickelodeon and having them nourish a lot of my creative abilities by putting me in with people like Bob Power, who mixed and produced Tribe Called Quest and D'Angelo, and Erykah Badu, was like helpful because then I had an idea of who I was prior to coming to LA. And continuing to act was a really great opportunity for me to tell stories in a different way. But I knew at some point I had to return to the roots of music that I couldn't stop thinking about.
How was that balance, like going to school and then starting on play? Did any of your friends go to your plays and all that?
Nah. Growing up in Brooklyn public schools, yeah, it's just not the most popular invite. But it was cool though, cause like around that time I did do a film called August Rush with with Robin Williams and Terrence Howard. So it was cool going to school and telling them 2 years before that, yo, I'm gonna be in a movie. They were like, man, you ain't gonna be in no movie. And then like 2 years later, they're like, oh shit, like yeah, it's a real thing. Seeing me on TV was really helpful for them to kind of understand why I would be gone for 4 months at a time and send in my schoolwork. But I always had a really good friend circle that was very supportive. Yeah.
You talk about August Rush, and that project actually played a big role in you becoming a songwriter. Can you talk a little bit about, like, did you have to pick up the guitar for that? Talk a little bit about that.
Whatever, for the audition for August Rush, you had to play guitar and sing a song. Now, mind you, I didn't know how to play guitar. So my mom was like, yo, here's 3 chords. So I learned 3 chords. And I sang some song I wrote at the time. After I learned the 3 chords, I got really inspired and like put together a little song, a little ditty. And it really made the casting director feel like I could handle some of the other records they have for the actual film. And backstage, because I was doing a play at the same time, I was doing a play called Color Purple. And backstage, like the whole cast, they were very there was such a warm embrace for me being a songwriter. They would every Friday night before a show be like, hey Leon, come play us your new song, and the whole cast would get together and I'll play my song on my acoustic guitar. Those were my first audiences, and it was the first time I had the feeling of, oh wow, people like what I wrote. And from there, it just became a thing. But without that entryway into being able to create my own worlds with, 4 or 5 chords and, a strong hook, I don't know if I'd be here right now.
Wow, that's amazing. You talk about like how big of an influence your mom was to you and your music career. Who else was in the house that was influential as a musician?
Yeah, my stepfather, he was a really amazing guitarist and bass player. That played with Missy Elliott, Salt and Pepper, 702, the bass line. That's him playing it, yeah. But yeah, he had a studio at the house, and they were running a independent record label called Platinum Records. Yeah, and we would have like rappers, singers, up and coming rock stars in my living room, trying to, make it. And I was able to see what every part of distribution looked like for them. They were printing CDs in our basement, like, merch, all of it. It was a cool way for me to kind of see like what everything was all about. And shout out to my stepfather, and my mom for being, very influential. My grandfather was also an opera singer. So I got to see a different side of music, very classy. Yeah, hanging with him was real nice. Opera singers are very well trained, and the way that they attention to the attention to lyric and melody is a big thing. So I think I picked that up as well.
I mean, it seems like this was inevitable for you. It was just you all the way around it. When did you decide for yourself that you wanted to make this an actual career? Because I know you were jumped. So your mom was like, "You should do this," but when did you decide, like, I actually want to keep going on with this? Was it your choice? Was you on board with your mom, or when did you say, "I want to do this for myself"?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was always my choice. I mean, being a singer, the thing is, I got signed for the first time to Columbia when I was 13 years old. And that was like prime time Neo with the fedora. Like, shit was lit. There wasn't a better genre to be in but R&B at that time, for real. So, like, I mean, I was willingly like, oh, yeah, hell yeah, let's lock it in. Chris Brown was doing backflips. Shit was lit. So then later on, when I got on Nickelodeon, it was really cool to hear songs that I wrote. There was a song called "Song to You" that did really well on that show. And I was like, thanks. It was really nice though. You know what I mean? Because we did this trip to Germany, and it was my first time seeing how far, those notes and rhythms traveled. I mean, I went to Germany, and they're banging on the windows and they're singing the song outside the car. And I mean, I knew for a fact I wanted to do it. My biggest thing is coming out of anything in that world can be really tough with Nickelodeon, and even just being an actor doing music, you really have to, pay your dues. And production and songwriting was a great bridge to both learn the art form and, really hone in my skills as an artist and come out with music that I really believed in at the right time.
Yeah, I love that. We got some people here that knows you from those shows as well too.
No, that's real. That's real. That's cool.
Well, I mean that was obviously a significant part of your career as well too. But you talk a little bit about that transition. I mean, shows like Victorious. I realized that was you on Backyard Again. So I heard you talk about it.
Yeah,
for a while. I was like, you kind of.
I mean, I ain't gonna drag it. I did like 1.5 seasons because I hit puberty. But it was it was really cool to be a part of shows like that and to grow up with my fans. A lot of the people that are supporting me now, were kids listening to my music. So that's a cool feeling,
Yeah, there it is.
And I mean, shout out to y'all. Y'all are doing real well. Executives, doctors, lawyers, artists. Like it's fly. It's fly to see y'all kill it for real.
No, it's really cool how your audience grew with you as well too, and also how you were able to have that part of your career, but then also really hone in on this brand of Leon Thomas, the artist of what you're doing now. What was that transition like? Because you had people who knew you for what they saw you, the Broadway, the TV shows, but now it seems like you successfully launched this brand. It's almost like you're a new artist and you've been doing this for a while. Was that intentional? What was that process like?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to make this a long answer, but I read this book by Robert Greene called Mastery, and it was talking about, like, the art of being an apprentice in this day and age. And I found amazing mentors on the way that really showed me the ropes on how to cook up an album, how to drop it, how to keep things hot. And shout out to Babyface, my first mentor, who let me use his studio out in Hollywood, and that A room was where I really started cooking up with epic tools. I mean, if you're beginning in the music industry, you know how big it is to have an A room, SSL board, a grand piano, the ability to, cook up with more than one person at a time. And that was really helpful. And then really rocking with Ty Dolla $ign was amazing because I was able to watch him put together amazing albums and keep the ball rolling and also have a life at the same time. And I think all of that started playing into the psychology of even how I'm doing things now. My team over at Capitol and Easy Money, Motown in the building right now. You guys have really been a really big source. I have funding right now. I have people that care about if the color's green or red, or if the font is too big, and that's something that I didn't have before. So it's nice to have support.
Love that, love that. You talk about the room that Babyface let you use.
Yeah.
And is that, I believe that's the same room that the record Snooze was born out of. Is that correct?
Nah, actually, it's funny. He's got this side room.
Okay,
It's so funny.
Okay.
Yo, it's like about as big as a closet. I think they converted a closet into a little like production studio. We wanted to stay close to wherever SZA was writing the record, and yeah, so we actually made that in this very tiny room. It's so funny, you'd think that we would have done it in this big ass room, but nah, it was damn near a closet, fam. It was crazy.
And it's the music. It's not
I
necessarily
know,
equipment.
yeah,
Right?
man. It was real.
That was a big part of as we talk about the production and songwriting that you've done as well. And I love the story of how that came together, because you guys actually came to the studio with a track for SZA that she wasn't necessarily interested in.
Yeah, man, you could always see in an artist's eyes when you playing some shit they don't like, but they'll mess with. And we saw that look and immediately turned around and got to work on something different. And thank God we did. I feel like an absence of ego can turn into amazing moments. And I'm glad that we weren't too big or feeling like we didn't have to continue to cook. She's so amazing, and I'm just like blessed to be a part of that song on the production end. It was really special.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about just your background and how it all just connects to your artistry, when we think about your Broadway, the writing in the studio, can you talk a little bit about the discipline and how those things connect to you as an artist? Like your work ethic, does any of that come from the discipline you learned in Broadway, or just the writing approaches? Talk a little bit about how your previous experiences help you with today.
Yeah, I mean, Broadway is probably a good starting point. I mean, that's 8 shows a week, so that's a lot of work. And I think it taught me that preparation is a really big part of art. And, preparing for 3 months, 2 months before anybody heard us sing a note for a Broadway play taught me that even when I'm, doing an audition for a TV show or movie, it's important to come in prepared for any performance. Just prepared is the big word. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And my work ethic is also attributed to being from New York. I feel like, yeah, a lot of New Yorkers have that grind and that hustle. Because the city requires it from you for real. It's expensive as shit to live out there. So, I think I brought a lot of that to LA.
Yeah, man, I really want to dive more into your artistry, because when you listen to your music, it's so well orchestrated, so well composed. The lyric, everything, it seems very intentional in all that you do with the music. When you are creating, what is the starting process for you? Because you can start on the guitar, you can go up on the piano, you could start in so many different directions. How does a song come to you, and how do you work out that idea?
Some of my favorite songs start from drums. Drums were my first instrument. It's the heartbeat of the record. It may not stay in that same BPM, but Just How You Are, for instance, I got on the drums and told the engineer, all right, record me on guitar, record me on bass, all right? Now I'm going to go to keys, And then by that point, I have something that feels like a world I can live in. And then I know what to pair it up with lyrically and melodically. And I think the one thing I really picked up from Ty Dolla $ign is that, revisions are important. So after you get the first, strike of inspiration, you gotta go in and chisel it, make it something really special that people will be able to sing back.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with these lyrics, because these lines that you're saying too, you have some lines that just stick with you as well too. Are you writing these? Are you just in the booth freestyling, and what comes?
Nah, I'm not a freestyler for real. It's just not my gift. But my boy Busy Crook, he's my co-writer. one of my best friends. I feel like he just really understands me, and we write so effortlessly. Like, it is one of the best, amazing partnerships I have in music right now, because we write a lot of songs for other artists too. But a lot of that comes from, us having like a really cool text thread where we're just like, it's kind of competitive. We're sending verses back and forth, trying new ideas, always trying to strive for a concept that we haven't, got into before. And now that I'm here at this place, we have what we call like a verse Bible, which just has a million different concepts and verses in it. And rather than like sitting there for 8 hours trying to find the rhyme to then, like, we're like just pulling from something that's already constructed because we did the homework, we prepared. Remember? Yeah. So that's like that was the that's the piece. So now when I'm in the studio, we ain't wasting that studio A-time budget. You heard? It's like right to the vibe. Yeah.
Man, you talk about different inspirations. The album MUTT, you got to talk a little bit about. Yeah, we can shout out for this. Yeah. Such an amazing album, by the way. An amazing
Thank
album,
you.
well constructed. The concept and inspiration. Your dog had something to do with this as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that story with your dog, kind of inspiring the concept behind this.
Bet. Well, I was in a relationship during COVID, and my ex-girlfriend got me a dog. And at the time, I was like, man, I'm starting this, artist journey. Like, it's going to be too much. But I ended up loving this dog to pieces, and also had a cat. And, they would fight a lot. It was just a lot. So one day I was sitting in my living room. I'm on the floor, so I'm really in their world now. I just gotten this new painting that was supposed to inspire. It's so funny how it works. I bought this painting to inspire my next album. And when I first got it, I realized it was kind of ugly. So I'm sitting on the floor. And I'm like, damn, this really isn't nice. And I'm looking at my dog. He's fighting my cat. And it hit me. I was like, MUTT. Like, my dog had this face, and it reminded me, I don't know if y'all have dogs, but they kind of start looking like you after a while. He just reminded me of my face, and I'm like, man, this is really cool. This is really cool. I feel like people are going to understand this. Serendipitously, I just watched the Elvis biopic, and, he had the hound dog, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like Black Elvis. And then, like... And I'm like, yo, let's just run it, like, just to have a mascot, to have something that kind of like is just easy to understand from a pop culture level. I thought that would make a lot of sense. George Clinton played into it too. I was working with him a couple months before that on some music. P-Funk and Atomic Dog is big. That dog influence has been throughout popular culture for years, generations, and I wanted to find a way to say it differently, and MUTT made the most sense.
But man, we can round of applause for that. Like,
yeah, thank you.
Amazing album, amazing concept. What's even, on top of that, equally creative is the deluxe and how you went off of the command hill to kind of, keep that same concept. Talk a little bit about, doing the deluxe, and what made you want to do the deluxe? The album's already doing great. What made you want to put the deluxe part to it? Was there more to the story?
Yeah, there's definitely more to the story for sure. It was a long journey, because by the time we even dropped MUTT, we had missed the window of even being eligible to be nominated for anything Grammy-wise. So we knew we had to really make sure that we kept this album in people's subconscious and front of mind. And I thought a great way to do that would be the deluxe. And at that time when we started the deluxe, my grandfather had just died. So heal to me, and it was double meaning, HEEL as the command, but the real meaning for me was healing from an epic wound, because he was like, a really strong source to my creativity. So, music is therapy for me, and I just got extra creative. Not only did we do that deluxe, we also did folks in that same time period. I mean, I was just really using every blue, red, green color of emotion within myself to make some music and not have it live within me. It needed to go somewhere.
With the music being so, the live instrumentations, the drums, the strings, everything that you're doing, does it make it easy to translate onto stage, or do you try to make it a different experience when you're going from the studio to the stage?
I mean, the beauty of being in this generation, I don't have to carry around a string section because Lord knows I can't afford it. But I think it is nice kind of still finding ways to break down records. I feel like musicianship is a big part of who I am, being that I do play a lot of the instruments on some of the records. And, I feel like it's just about how I started, me and my guitar. Like 4 chords I really like and a really great hook, a storyline, and I got to tell these stories. And as I go, I know I'm going to have opportunities to add more, but for now, I'm still going to find a way to tell the best story with just me and my guitar.
The musicality, the way that you add the musicality in such a modern way as well too, because you're doing things that maybe in the 60s, 70s was common, but you're bringing it in a fresh way that this generation could be introduced to the musicality. Why is musicality important to incorporate into your sound and your brand?
I think it's a way to stand out. In the genre, there's plenty of amazing artists doing wonderful musical music, things that utilize a lot of instrumentation and a lot of the same nodes that I have in my own. But I think it's a great way for me to have my own lane right now. And shout out to every R&B artist going in. They definitely inspire me in great ways, but I knew I wanted to come out with my own flow and my own flavor. And I think the best way to do that is to kind of showcase how I compose just as much as show y'all how I can write and sing.
Absolutely. One thing that I love too is how your collaborations really complement your style and your directions, from like the records with Holly or the records with Big Sean or Wale. Talk a little bit about how some of those collaborations come together. Is it a sense of energy? Is it just this record fits this person? Talk about how those collaborations come together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to have worked with amazing artists that I can also do lunch with or go to a kickback with, and it's not awkward. We're actually, I would say, friends, and it's nice being able to see that translate in the music. It's always different, when you have a genuine relationship with a collaborator. I think it can come out in how they approach it. They may actually post it after it comes out or want to do a video. And I mean, no shade to anybody that I've worked with that I just met, but I feel like the real special ones came from having a personal relationship.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You had this thing I heard you talk about creating from the spirit of abundance, and
Yeah.
how, like, you don't worry about if it's giving away a song, because you can just come up with so many songs. Where does that spirit come from, and what makes you have that confidence as well too, to be like, oh, this sounds like a hit, but I'll write another one? Where does that come from?
I mean, it's definitely, definitely comes from a spiritual place. I feel like an abundance mindset should be something that you use for more than just songs. Let's be real. But I think for me specifically, I think training my subconscious to believe that there's a constant flow of creative ideas and genuinely believing that in my soul, I think has created an opportunity for me to walk into a studio and not feel that writer's block. And if I ever do feel tapped out, maybe it's because I'm tired. Let me go take a walk. Let me take a 3-day vacation or a week and just reboot and get back to it, But that abundance mindset is important, and it's the reason why I didn't feel like it was a bad thing to write and produce for other artists. I think there's more than enough ideas to go around. You just got to, be there to catch them,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure, absolutely. You've worked with so many different artists. You collaborated as an artist, as a producer. Are there any collaborations or dream collabs that you haven't got a chance to do yet that you're looking forward to doing?
Yeah. K Trinata, I want to do something with him. Man, he be playing. I was outside with him, man. we were actually out at a bar the other night, and I was like, fam, like, what's going on? Like, he's like, I know. So we're going to figure that out for sure. That's, like, coming soon. But I feel like Frank Ocean, I could do something really cool with him. I just don't know where my boy's at. It's just like, come on, fam. But, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people I want to work with, this morning, I don't want to shout him out too much, but John Mayer hit me up. Like, I want to do something with him. Like, multi-genre stuff, I think, would be smart in the next couple years, because I feel like there's more stories for me to tell in other genres as well. I just want the collaborations to ring true. Like I said, like, let's do lunch. Let's actually hang out. Like, what's your life like? You know, you tired today? Like, I want to kind of operate from a standpoint of seeing them as humans, because I think the rest of the world may see them as superheroes. And I think when you get to that human place, it really rings true.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we got to get some of those collaborations.
Yeah, for sure.
We got to get some. One thing I want to talk about as well too, as much as you are passionate about the creation of the music, you're also a music advocate as well too. You was with the Recording Academy, being a music advocate as well. Why is that important to you? Not to just support the music, but also just the business around the music, the world around the music. You really dive into both sides of it, on the creative and just making sure that there's a place for creators to really create freely. Talk about like what made you want to step into that world.
I mean, let's get into it. So the world is changing rapidly. Technology is making amazing strides to the future, but with that, there needs to be advocacy, people lobbying for us. Going to DC for the first time was my first time realizing, like, oh yeah, we have to send people over here to talk to these folks so that we can have bills written that work in our favor, because capitalism is a huge thing. Monopolies are very real. AI is coming really, really, really fast. And I really want to see us do a little bit better than how we did in the past with technological advancements when it comes to music. And I feel like if I'm silent right now, I'll regret not saying something. And luckily, the Grammys isn't just about an award show. It's about, genuinely using your voice and your power to put instruments in kids' hands, to fund programs that can really get people out there when it comes to music education. So I'm happy that y'all have that, that platform.
I mean, it makes it even more valuable when someone, as talented and gifted as you is being the face of that for us too, and also speaking towards it as well. So definitely, we do a lot of music education here, and to see people actively doing it, also giving back, is impacting for sure, for sure. We get another round of applause for
It's
that.
important. Thank you,
Absolutely,
man.
yeah. I know we're going to get a chance to hear some music, and we're going to go to the audience for some questions
Okay, bet.
in a second as well. I want to talk a little bit about a few big moments that happened. One was the Tiny Desk that you did.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Thank you, man.
When you talk about creating a special version of the songs, the Tiny Desk, I feel like we got to really have those same songs that we love reintroduced in a different way. Talk a little bit about the Tiny Desk performance, but then you had one other big one, because I want to come over to the audience in a second as well too. The Coachella moment is well too. Talk about those two performance moments before we dive into our audience.
Tiny Desk was, pretty next level. We had to move that performance date because my grandfather had just passed around that time, and we were just trying to figure out how to make everything work. So I was still in an emotional state of, just really trying to figure it out, the human parts, and then you got to go out and smile for the cameras and, make something happen with the music. But what was really beautiful is that I was able to use everything that I was feeling in that performance, and looking back at it, knowing how much I was dealing with at the time, it was really nice to see that God gave me the opportunity to overcome. And Coachella, I'll be real, I've been going to Coachella since I was 16, being out here in LA, and I think it was just an amazing moment. George Clinton was on that stage with us, and he made me a hat before we went up there to perform. He was like, hey, you the kid with the dog song, right? Yeah, man, I made you a hat. I was like, oh, nice. And then the hat was like a fox hat, and it was so cool. And he said he designed it himself, and to me, it just felt like, a generation that I have so much admiration for. 70s funk and soul, like, is an inspiration to everything I do. So that was a huge, huge moment, and I just want to say thank you to Ty Dolla $ign for putting that together, man. I mean, he's a real architect. That was a really, really cool moment.
How did you and Ty actually connect?
Me and Ty, we used to see each other at the studios, but he was working on an album called Featuring Ty Dolla $ign, and it was one of the coolest sessions ever, man. It was Jacob Collier, Skrillex, I was there, my boy Ali. It was just a nice a group of people, just a group you wouldn't expect to all be creating. And over time, we became really good friends. And then when I was ready to do my artist thing, he had an imprint over at Motown. And it felt like, I was watching Baby Keem and Kendrick doing their thing, and I felt like there hasn't really been that moment in R&B, a big bro, little bro moment. So I figured that could be a smart marketing play. And shout out to him for being down,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I know you're really big on manifesting and being a visionary. Is there anything that you're manifesting for this next season as you're ready to do your tour? You got the new project coming out. Or is there anything else that you're manifesting for this new season?
Yeah, man. I'm really trying to build a bridge back to television and film that doesn't feel like I'm just trying something out. I want it to be special, and I want it to utilize music in a real way. So I feel like that transition back to the film world has to be real and has to kind of come from the way that I've been creating this music. But I'm just taking the time to really learn. I mean, I've done film and TV before, but the behind the scenes aspect of producing is something I really want to get into, as well as starring in something. So that's like way down the line, but it's definitely something that's on, my vision board. And also, I really want to play some bigger shows. I got arena dreams, So right now, I got a 2-piece up here with me. I want like at least 5 pieces up there, some fireworks. I might fly through the crowd. You never know. But like, I'm just saying, like that's also on the vision board. So we'll see.
Bring the fedora back for that.
Yeah, man. I'm bringing the fedora back for real.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I think we're going to get ready to go to some questions. Do we have Victoria? Okay, there we go. She's right here. We have one right here. Yeah.
Hello, Leon.
Hey.
My name is Jasmine. I've met you a couple times, most recently at DreamCon, and I kind of guess,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, had a moment there.
What's up?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So my question will actually be good this time. I won't make another moment. What is your favorite part about touring now?
I think my favorite part about touring is seeing the different energies that come from city to city. Like, no crowd is the same. They all have their pros and cons, but for the most part, it's just so cool to see, this country in such a different way. And now I'm even traveling all over the world and doing shows, and everybody experiences music different. And learning how to, like, operate from crowd to crowd has been a really cool exercise.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
We got another one right here. Yeah.
Hi, Leon. My name is Shiloh.
What's up?
Nice to meet you. So my question is, in your beginning years of creating, how did you come back to yourself in times of doubt? So I'm a photographer. I'm trying to do concert photography, and it's really easy to, like, compare yourself to other people, especially, like, in the realm of concert photography. There's other people that have been in that, like, career for years. So it's really easy to just, like, compare myself and just, like, doubt myself. But I've been pretty confident, but there's some times where I'm like, shit, do I really have it? Do I not? So, like, how do you ground yourself and, like, come back and, like, gain that confidence again?
Well, I feel like that question is just as much rooted in your mental health journey as it is in the entertainment industry. But I think to bridge the gap, I really feel like meditation has been something that's been really, really nice for me. And being able to envision myself in certain places, man, to really see myself as exactly what I want to be, I think has been so helpful. My quiet time in the morning, my quiet time at night is vital to my ability to see myself and to train my subconscious to consistently be the one telling me, you can do it. It's all right. It didn't work out now. It's going to work out later. And that's something you kind of got to work on. Affirmations is a big thing. So I would say try it out. You never know. It might work for you too.
Thank you.
I love that. Great question, actually. Oh, back here? Yeah. Oh, that's I don't know who has the mic, but I do see the hand.
I was just wondering, do you think you'll ever perform Answer Your Phone Live?
That's a good one. That's one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually the song that I'm really excited about for the new tour. And if you don't have tickets, I'm stop. But nah, I'm actually really excited to sing that one for tour. It's a moment I want to be extremely special, and we're creating a moment for it in the set list that's going to be really, really special. It was one of those songs when Diane wrote and played it for me for the first time. Like, I knew that people would feel it. So I feel like the experience that people have with that live needs to be nothing less than spectacular, and I'm working hard to make that happen.
Great question. Great song as well, too.
Thanks.
I think we're still back. Oh, this way. Oh, here we are. Sorry.
Hi, Leon. I'm Charlene. Nice to meet you.
Oh, what's up?
So you started early on in your career, in your artistry. You've been with a lot of greats, a lot of mentors. What would you tell your younger self? What would be like the biggest piece of advice that you would recommend and advise yourself?
This is gonna be corny as hell, but take your time. What's the rush, man? Like, yo, I was so focused on getting things out right then. I was rushing through music in my earlier years. I was just doing too much, you know? I think, like, I really needed to take more time, really figure out what I was trying to say, like, put the pieces together, understand that funding is just as important as the creative process, and, really, do what I had to do on the business side to get it out to the people. And, I rushed into some bad deals early on. So, I think later on, I would look back and tell myself, just take your time. Patience, young man, patience. It's going to work out.
Cool, we're going to do one more question right
Cool.
here.
Hey, Leon.
Hey, what's up?
What's been your biggest full circle moment throughout your career?
Yeah, I'm like, what? And I think it's the homie, like, man, my biggest full circle moment. My biggest full circle moment would have to be Stephen Colbert doing the Tonight Show, and my grandfather will always say, "Man, you need to be up on the Tonight Show, man. I really feel like you could kill it. These guys can't sing. They can't sing. They can't." He would call me mad. I'm like, "Fam, it's late. Why aren't you asleep? Get your rest." But he was big on that, and I remember, they were doing the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, and the guy went, and I was like, man, I wish Grandpa could see this, but I know he was looking down, like, you know what I mean?
Amazing question. I know we're going to get ready to hear some music. We talked a little bit about set lists. How do you put together a set list with such a crazy catalog? How do you put together and say, this is the songs that I'm going to do?
It's also about my mood, too. I'm in a party vibe right now. I want to have some fun, I don't want to get all sad, tonight. So I'm like, the set list for tonight is just in a good vibe. And, like, hopefully y'all are down to party with me, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully we down to just catch a vibe. That's what I put together. I think it's all about the emotion that I can carry on stage.
Yeah. We excited. Y'all ready to party? Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
We excited. Great album again with MUTT. We got folks on the way. We're excited for all the new music. Please give Leon Thomas another round of applause.
Thank y'all. For real.
We're going to do a quick reset.